All right, it looks like we're live on our YouTube and now Facebook. So let me double check that that's accurate. All right, we'll be getting started here in one moment. As you all are starting to hop on to our broadcast, do me the huge favor of reacting to the video or commenting in the chat so I can see who is tuned in with us and we can get started here momentarily. All right, well, let's get this show started. Thank you guys for hopping on. Happy Wednesday. It is the middle of a crazy busy week. I know everyone's schedule has been piled high between school activities, work, and kind of this new normal that we're in. I am Juliette Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you onto our live broadcast. If it is your very first time on our page, I do encourage you to hit the like button and the follow so you can be alerted when we go live into the future and post some awesome content. And of course, if you're a returning viewer back to me, and I know several of you always are, then thank you so much for being a part of our broadcast since 2020. We've been hosting these since March of last year, and the feedback on them has been amazing that we've continued to have them Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, bringing you updates not only from our mayor, but updates from newer partners of ours, all the way to resources and the information that you should be aware of. Now, we are on all major social media platforms. So if you have not already connected with us, then I highly encourage you to do so. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Westy Chamber. We're also on LinkedIn, Westminster Chamber of Commerce, and our YouTube page is Westminster Chamber. At the same time that we are streaming this here on our Facebook page, it is streamed on our YouTube. And if for some reason you get a call, you get a message, you have to leave and can no longer be with us live, that's okay. You can always replay the video. It's found in the video section of this Facebook page or our YouTube channel and available to you to rewind, rewatch to your heart's content. Now, I would like to ask that if you are viewing it, you you hit the share button so others in your network can see that we're live and can also hop in, join in, and really give us a nice welcome to one of our newer partners. Now, as you begin to hop onto our broadcast, if you react to the video or provide any comments, we're actually able to see who is on here with us. And we'd love to give some shout outs back to you for spending a portion of your day with us. We have Wayne Anderson, our actually current board chairman. I almost said bird chairman, but board chairman for the chamber. Wayne is tuning in from our YouTube platform, and you can see that with the little red icon that's there, giving us a nice good morning message both to Dan and myself. Again, as we are going through our broadcast today, if questions or comments come to mind, we always encourage that level of engagement. We ask that you share those with us so that we're able to pick that up in between the questions that I get to kind of pop over. But Dan, I'm so excited that we were able to sync up our schedules and be on here together.
Me too. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited and grateful.
So as we were getting kicked off and started, I noticed that there was a little feline that you were grabbing that was kind of running around all over the place. And you know me, when I see something that's out there or different, I want to pause and kind of identify it. So tell me about this four-legged creature.
Yeah, she is one of two in my home. So we're a cat family. That is my gray adoption kitty, Bella. Her brother, Rocco, is somewhere in the house snoozing. We adopted them both last summer. They are our COVID kitties. We got them over at Almost Home Adoptions. And so they've been great family members. Since I work from home, Bella is always shadowing me, especially right here in my office corner. So when the computer is set up, she likes to be where the warm screen is. And that's what she was doing, hanging out right behind the monitor here.
That's awesome. And thank you for doing that and rescuing a couple of those felines. I know that especially around COVID, it was challenging for a lot of our adoptables to be adopted, as you can imagine. So we are so appreciative to see that personal side of you. And you're here to represent Westminster Lifestyle. But really, before we go into detail and understand more about your business, I always like for people to understand you personally. Tell us who Dan is. Are you from Westminster? Are you from Colorado?
Not from Colorado originally. This is my second time here as a transplant. Okay. Yeah, I am a transplant from Minnesota by way of Iowa. So spent the first 2 decades of my life growing up in the frozen tundra. About from the age of 7, I knew that I was going to be working in radio. Like being a DJ was in the cards for me. And sure enough, when I was in high school, started out with a radio station, kind of a community free-form station, similar to what Denver Open Media does here. But then from there, my college track was a broadcast degree. And so then that led me to Burlington, Colorado for my first post-college paid gig, way out on the plains. Last town on I-70 you hit before you get to Kansas. So I'm sure many folks who've traveled over to KC or beyond on 70 know that town well as a stop for gas. I worked there at a small market radio station doing cow reports and producing commercials for the local in-town business partners we had. So that was a great exposure to Colorado. I was able to do all my first Colorado stuff in that 96 to 97 timeframe. My first Red Rock show, my first skiing at a basin. So I love that chapter. That propelled me to Iowa for some radio work for the next approximately 2 decades. My 3 kids came into the world in Iowa. And then in 2016, a radio station group called Way FM invited me to come to Denver to be their operations manager. And I oversaw operations and events in Denver, Colorado Springs, and Wichita. We had a great time doing that until last summer, and my job ended in the height of COVID. With my family situation, I've got 3 kids. So my oldest is 22. He's in Firestone, living his dream life himself with a cat in his own apartment. He's working for UC Health, having a great time up there. And then I've got a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old. They're both students in Jeffco. And my wife and I, she moved here and we married actually under COVID quarantine in my backyard last summer.
Oh my God.
And yeah, for those of us who ventured to tie the knot last summer. Some folks may know this. The state of Colorado allowed for couples to self-officiate, which is what we did. And so with just me and Kathy and our 5 kids, her 2 kids are 8 and 7 and are going to Sheridan Green. Yeah, our big family blended together, and that's just a little about me on the personal level.
Yeah, you in a nutshell. So I have been out on I-70. I've actually, and most people that have been on these broadcasts with me have probably heard me speak to so often about going down to Oklahoma and seeing family and everything. And so, yeah, I often will pass Burlington, and you're exactly right. That's usually where I stop for my gas before I continue through. But your story is so wonderful, and it's great to kind of hear about how you were here, you left, and then you were kind of drawn back to Colorado. I think that speaks volumes on kind of the quality of life and everything that we have to offer here in the state. And congrats again on your wedding that you just had last summer. The funny thing about that, we double down as a visitor component as well, and really serve anyone that's coming here to kind of see the area, come for conferences, meeting groups, or sporting tournaments. And last year, you're absolutely right. There were people that were officiating themselves, and so many that were coming even from out of state for weddings, and kind of like a destination type environment. And so it was interesting to see that that was still moving forward a little bit non-traditionally, right? The industry had gotten shaken up, but people were still tying the knot. They were still moving forward in their personal lives, and you were one of those. So thank you for sharing a little bit more about not only your work history, but also your family and your kids that you have going on. I know one of the things that we touched on earlier was some of the efforts that we're doing as a chamber over this week around public policy. And so hearing that you have kiddos in the Jeffco schools, and you yourself kind of being educated through our broadcasts on candidates and different platforms, it was a great opportunity for you. So Dan, let's move into the topic of this discussion. That's really to welcome you and your business to our organization. And traditionally, there are so many ways through programs and events that we have that you're able to connect with others. It's been a little atypical, of course, with COVID. So we're allowing this platform as an opportunity for people to hear what your business is and what you guys do.
Sorry, that was a poorly timed drink of water there. I thought you were going a little further past that sentence. So thank you. Yes, my company, Westminster Lifestyle, we are locally owned, but part of a much larger national group. So about 13 years ago, Lifestyle Publications formed in the Kansas City metro area. Our president, Stephen Schoengert, launched the first publication there in the suburb of Leawood. And from there, Lifestyle has grown to now over, I believe, 120 publications across the country. So eventually they evolved their platform into being a scalable, franchisable business model, which earlier this year, my wife and I were approached on LinkedIn, and their team is very active in Colorado. So currently, Lifestyle has publications in Greeley, Loveland, Fort Collins, Boulder, Broomfield, Arvada, Cherry Creek, Westminster with me, Colorado Springs, Castle Rock, Highlands Ranch, Parker, Roaring Fork Valley, and Grand Junction. I think I got us all. So to be added to, such a great All right, I think we might be back. Fabulous. Sorry, I saw spinning wheels there for a second. So yeah, I'm grateful that Lifestyle selected my wife Kathy and me to launch Westminster to serve our community, and our format, our fundamentals are really simple and pretty cool. We get to create a community publication that reflects the best of Westminster. So every issue we're going to be featuring stories about community leaders, business leaders. We'll be informing our readers about the most uplifting experiences to have here in Westminster, who some really great folks are and to share their stories, because I think we all have a really compelling story to tell. Every single one of us has lived through enough that our story can be a vehicle through which people can connect, and that can lead to other people experiencing, kind of a moment of empathetic appreciation for other people and seeing sort of something within themselves through somebody else's story that they haven't seen before. So with my time in broadcasting and 15 years in Christian radio, and now being able to do storytelling in this format through Westminster Lifestyle, I'm thrilled to be able to share. And we haven't even scratched the surface. With our first issue, we were able to spend some time with Judy Pepper, who many of our friends here in the Westminster Chamber know. Judy and Vaughn with Zoe's Coffee at 112th and Federal. Vaughn, a community leader serving in the Westminster PD for a number of years, and Vaughn passing this year. We're sharing kind of Judy and Vaughn's love story, if you will, in our launch issue. And I just feel so blessed to be able to be in a place to do that, and to have a really great venue to share stories like that in our community.
Absolutely, and that warms my heart. The Peppers have been folks that are instrumental in our community, and we've enjoyed their time and involvement, not only in our organization, but in the community. So it'll be really nice to see that. And I'm glad that you kind of expanded to really talk about the brand from the national lens and even from across the state. And so my understanding from this is, even though you are in other communities, whether it's Longmont, Lafayette, the Springs, etc., you are strictly over the Westminster market. Is that right?
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Kathy and I own Westminster Lifestyle.
Okay.
Actually, now called City Lifestyle Westminster.
Okay.
That's a whole other story I could tell too. But
well, let's talk about that. So it was Westminster Lifestyle. You've recently gone through some changes for it to be City Lifestyle Westminster. Was this a personal choice? Was it, again, something that was a directive from the national front? Let's expand a little bit more on it.
Yeah, thank you. Every company goes through growth and iteration and evolution, as far as developing, rolling out your brand, letting it grow as your constituency grows and evolves along with you. So keeping our brand relevant and connective is kind of a two-pronged view here. So nationally, so we're a luxury print medium, and we're also a full digital platform accompanying that. And with digital and print working hand in hand, historically our company had called the digital presence City Lifestyle. And so with digital being the place where, all the eggs are, really, as far as doing business, connecting, growing, sharing content, we believe luxury print, and we have objective market data to show that our print is banging. Our target audience still loves us and reads our publications cover to cover, 82% of them that we send out. So the evolution of the entire company name from Lifestyle Publications to City Lifestyle, that reflects the approach to digital, the prominence of digital, and how that serves our print platform as well. So when we started this process, we engaged with the brand as it was, and that was called Westminster Lifestyle. So now, with a slight tweak to our visual aesthetic nationally, and a lot of this is like way inside baseball, so I'm pulling back the curtain quite a bit here for you. The change from Lifestyle Publications to City Lifestyle, it just simply follows that then our community is reflected as City Lifestyle Westminster.
And that makes sense when you explain it, for sure, as opposed to just kind of picking up the name and trying to understand a little bit more. And we've given viewers a better understanding about kind of what is the product that you offer and what you provide, where you can be found. We've also touched a little bit about your background not only professionally, of course, in talk radio, all the way to what you're doing now, and including your recent marriage and addition of felines and even your kiddos that are transitioning in their own life. So I'm going to throw you a curveball, and my curveball is going to be the myths around print marketing. Now, I know that you offer not only print marketing, but you do the digital component as well. And there are a lot of thoughts around this. And I think over the years, we've seen a lot of feelings, maybe not very supportive of that medium for marketing. So I'm going to throw you a few of these and see if you kind of have some responses for me on them, if that's okay. This very first myth that I often will hear. Yeah, I often hear.
Sorry, I lost you there for 20 seconds or so.
Oh, okay, you're okay. So the very first myth that we often will hear is that print marketing is outdated. So that basically, you know, this has been around for a long period of time. It's no longer relevant. There's new technology and innovation at the forefront. So it's just ink on paper. And so what can you speak to that?
I appreciate that because, yeah, one of the most common objections I get to hear as I meet with potential partners in the community is, I thought print was dead. Yes, thank you. Let me speak to that. So the great thing is, and we have anecdotal and we have scientific, we have empirical to go with it. You know, the empirical side shows in neuroscience, people love to touch and feel their information, their media, you know. We hear anecdotally as well with that you know, for folks who love paper books versus picking them up on your Kindle or Apple Books or what have you, there's sort of that visceral connection to the information you're consuming. And we find that with our brand of luxury print, that people love to touch and feel the information they're taking in. And so we have a really great color palette. We have clean design. The editorial we provide is compelling and engaging. So when you combine that in our specific print medium, which is a really nice, thick, high quality paper, it all comes together in a package that, you know, with a lot of refinement and work over the years that we've been doing this, and our team collectively has been doing this, you know, we find that, again, anecdotally, people tell us, gosh, I just love how this looks and feels. With one of my newest partners, I don't know if I can name drop on here, with one of my newest partners who joined in early Monday morning, you know, one of her best praises was just, gosh, I love how this looks and feels. I love how this brand aligns with mine perfectly. And so, yeah, we've got the science, we've got people who just love the print. And so that's where I would say, no, print isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It's adapting and growing.
Yeah. And so do you think that the myth that people don't like to receive mail, that's in fact not necessarily true?
Oh, no, I don't think that's a myth or not true. People generally don't like to have to sort through all the stuff in the mailbox. And I can attest to that myself. You know, there's the stack of stuff that comes in, you know, the bills, those folks which don't, you know, offer the electronic bills yet, PDFs and emails. We can all do that now, right? But some folks still send out the paper every month. So there's that. And then there's like the newsprinty stuff that, you know, might end up in the kindling pile for the backyard fire ring. You know, we are finding with Circulation Verification Council data on our publications, as recently as 2020, last year in the middle of COVID, 82% of our publications are getting read cover to cover. So there's something about what we have that reflects our community. You know, the cover image that greets you in the mailbox each month is a really high quality, great reflection of a person or an experience in the Westminster community. And that pulls people in, and the stories pull people in deeper and help to develop those relationships with our business partners.
Absolutely. And so here's a question that I have for you. And this is going to be more around the support from community. You know, how can the community support you, not just necessarily in purchasing, you know, ad placements or things like that in your publication, but what are some ways that other folks can really champion you, or maybe this newer effort that you have?
Well, once you start receiving us in your mailbox each month, tell some friends, tell some folks in the community. If you like what we're doing, spread the word. If you have feedback for me, I welcome it. I want City Lifestyle Westminster to be a collaboration with the community, in addition to being a reflection of our best and most inspiring. And so that means in places where I don't have relationships or connections yet, for friends of mine out there that I've connected with who are like, oh yeah, I know this person over here you need to talk to. Referrals and connections like that would be wonderful. We want, and our hairy, audacious goal for City Lifestyle Westminster is to be the community publication for Westminster. And that's acknowledging all the other great media that are already out serving the community. We believe that everybody is meeting a need print-wise in lots of different ways, and we're coming in to serve in a very unique and distinctive way. And here's a personal part of it. This is the community that kind of held and cared for my family as we went through some challenges shortly after moving here in 2016. This is the community we don't want to leave. Our youngest, who is 7 over at Sheridan Green, we want to be here until he's graduating from Stanley Lake. And so with all of that in mind, that is what fuels me to have the place in my heart to want to serve this community and to give back like it's given to us.
Absolutely. And I think you hit it on its head when you said there are numerous things that are going on in the community, right? Like your focus is really to be the lifestyle choice for the area, right? Like this is about the community. But there are other partners, right? There are even partners like us that focus on our city visitor component, or our guides that are really around the business community. We've got others in our municipal level that focus on the activity side of things, right? And the activities that are going on in their respective recreation departments or passes that you can be using, etc. There's newspapers that are out there, but each one has a different niche and each one has a different purpose behind it. And I think that was just a very well put together statement that you just shared in how you're positioning yourself and where you see yourself playing that role. So folks are trying to reach you directly. Is there a phone number that they can be calling on you in?
Certainly, yes. We would love to help. And again, we're here not just to reflect the best of Westminster, but to help our business partners grow as we give them direct access to Westminster's 60,000 most affluent residents. Yeah, my cell number, for any kind of connection is 319-290-0479. And you know how it is. I tried to get a Verizon number attached to my phone with a 720 area code. That doesn't work so well. So for folks who have that number, I'm actually going to be discontinuing it here in the cell phone age. There it is, my out-of-state cell phone number.
And then if they are interested in maybe reaching you outside of this, are they to go to your website? Are they sending an email? What's another way that they can reach out to you outside of the phone?
Sure. Email for me, dan.feehan. So my last name is a bit of a fun one. F like Frank, EEHAN at lifestylepubs.com. And also for our website, you can go to citylifestyle.com and find us that way.
Awesome. But you're also on major social media platforms as well.
Yep. Facebook and Instagram. Westminster Lifestyle on Facebook. Westminster __ lifestyle on Instagram.
Yeah. Awesome. And I've included your phone number, your email, and even the social pages in the chat section for anyone that ends up watching this later. If you were watching it with us now, we have Dan with us sharing all things City Lifestyle Westminster, which is a newer business that him and his wife have started up last summer. So in the midst of COVID, they decided, why the heck not? Let's go into this new medium, or let's take on this newer challenge and really trying to report about the amazing things here here in the city of Westminster. Dan shared with us a little bit about himself personally, professionally. We've also touched about the brand and the recent change in name. So if you've recognized it before as Westminster Lifestyle, it's now City Lifestyle Westminster. And then we've gone into details of debunking some common myths that are around print marketing, from the exorbitant costs that might be there, all the way to the death of print marketing, to why is it even around still. So I appreciate Dan kind of fielding those questions, and I appreciate all of you that have been able to tune into the broadcast. Please do us a huge favor of course, sharing this out to your network and letting others know about this amazing resource, and pinging Dan if you think of something that you're like, hey, you should be inclusive of this in your publication. We are going to have to hop off because I promised Dan it would only be a 30-minute broadcast. So I do have to hop off, but of course, feel free to connect with him offline, or if you think of a question, you can always ask it to us later on and I'll direct it over to his way. Giving us a hashtag replay on the video lets us know that you tuned in and found this to be of value. And before I entirely disconnect, I want to remind you all that this evening is our City Council Candidate Forum. We are kicking it off with a meet and greet around 5:30 and moving immediately into the forum at 6 p.m. So if you're interested in learning about the city council candidates, including the mayoral candidates, come out this evening. If you can't come out this evening but want to watch it in real time and live, the City of Westminster is going to be streaming it for us on the City of Westminster YouTube channel, where you can find it playing. Dan, I hope you have a terrific rest of your morning, and thank you so very much for being a part of our broadcast.
Thank you so much, Juliet. Thanks, everybody.